Hey, welcome to another episode of Crossover Event. Man, we got a good show for you today because we got some stuff we're super excited about. Who isn't ready for the next Miles Morales movie?
I was born ready.
Yes, of course. So, talking about the next movie to come up, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And we got a little look at the featurette for the upcoming Peacemaker show, which has me more excited than the actual Suicide Squad.
Really?
Oh yeah. I'm pretty pumped for this. Outside of that, we have some more news. Can you tell us what the news was, Chris?
Nope, I don't remember. Let's just get to it as we
You'll
go.
find out.
Yeah.
I'm Martin Thomas.
I'm Chris Cox.
And this is Crossover Event.
We're going to have fun. So, man, across the universe, I was going to say.
I know.
Oh my
It's
God,
hard not to say
so
that.
I've been watching that Beatles documentary, so I'm just like, I've got Beatles on the head. I'm just, it's like, you know the scene when all the spider people just sat together in a studio and they recorded Let It Be?
Oh, yeah. No, it goes into a whole yellow submarine.
Yeah. They're all living in a yellow submarine, which is just a metaphor for the multiverse of spider people that exist all across the dimensions. The last one was kind of a masterpiece. I mean,
No, that was definitely a masterpiece.
Straight up a masterpiece.
Straight up a masterpiece.
Won an Oscar, best animated feature.
Beat Pixar for the Oscar.
Yeah, I mean, Pixar had to be like, wait, what just happened?
No, I think that year even they knew. They were like, yeah, you guys got it. Okay, fine.
Well, I mean, Disney owns all the Marvel stuff now, except for Spider-Man. So they're
That's
like,
true.
maybe we're gonna make a Into the Hulkverse. Universal owns Hulk.
Yeah, no. You want to do World War Hulk? You're gonna do something like that. But Miles is back. This is a great trailer, bringing back Spider-Gwen to kick things off.
I love Spider-Man.
And
Haley Steinfeld.
Of course. And we see a lot of Spider-Man 2099. Bringing back Oscar Isaac, who voiced him in that little bit at the very end of the last movie.
I remember people bitching who love, only people who are super Spider-Man dorks like you and I, going, Spider-Man 2099 was like one of the best iterations of Spider-Man ever, and I'm not disagreeing with those people, because it was. But that future, it's Batman Beyond with Spider-Man, okay? Except
it came out way before.
They both have claws.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even think about Batman had claws too. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Point is, this is going to be about him and a bunch of other characters. They've been very reticent about saying what the other characters are going to be.
Of course.
With the exception of course, we're getting Spider-Gwen returning. Mm-hmm. They've said, I be damned if I can say the Japanese name of him, but
Spider-Man?
Spider-Man, yeah. Which was the 70s Stan Lee adapted. Like when Stan Lee went to Japan and went like, hey, do you want to buy some Marvel stuff? And said, great, we'll do Spider-Man. And they did it in their uniquely 70s Japanese way. But
sure, where Spider-Man has a giant robot.
Yeah, it apparently will be a big part of this. It wasn't in the last one. And as well, they'll be interesting. As well, they will be introducing Jessica Drew, who is Spider-Woman, who has always been a big part of the Marvel continuity. In fact, the character of Silk, and Spider-Gwen will be getting their own spin-off movie from this one.
Okay.
Yeah, focusing on the Spider-Woman.
Well, that does seem like the Sony way where, wow, if this sort of worked, then if we just do 10 spin-offs, that'll be even better.
What's interesting is in the last one that Phil Lord was the one who actually, if I'm not mistaken, was the one who wrote it and produced it. But Chris Miller wasn't involved. Now, Lord and Miller have obviously worked together on a lot of projects in the past.
Think of their names together.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Like a lot of
John
high
and
profile. Exactly. A lot of high profile animated projects, especially. And then a few that no one expected to work, like 21 Jump Street and 22 Jump Street.
Lego movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And now we're doing this together. I guess Chris was like, oh, that worked pretty well. Can I come in? But they weirdly got rid of the directing staff from the first one.
That is weird.
And they brought in a whole new group of people.
Right.
Because Joaquin Dos Santos.
Now, Joaquin Dos Santos, he's huge because he animated so many of the best episodes of Batman the Animated Series and Avatar, the Last Airbender.
Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah, and Justice League Unlimited. Yeah.
But this is his feature film directing debut. And there's like two other people he's directing with on here.
Well, Kemp Powers, who was also a co-director on Soul.
And wrote One Night in Miami.
The best movie of that year.
Yeah, but okay. Well, really good. I'm actually watching the Criterion release of it right now. Oh, you didn't even know that was a thing?
No, I did not know that was a thing.
Oh, man, I was so excited I got it. It's such a good movie. But Can't be more thrilled. I like that Feige has said that as you look in the trailer, wow, those Spider-Man 2099 sequences, they look totally different from everything else. And, the last movie was more people from multiverses coming to Miles Morales' universe. This is Miles going to other people's universes. And they've said, Feige has said, that every universe will have its own distinct look as if it was done by a different artist.
Why do you say Feige? Is he
Feige is, with the new Sony deal, they're intricately connected.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now, Feige is now the pitch man for Sony projects.
Okay.
So I'm sure you can't wait to when he's like, Venom 3. Yeah. I'm sure it'll be fun.
So, out of Suicide Squad comes Peacemaker with his own show, kind of following the Marvel Disney Plus formula with Warner Brothers. I mean, they've been trying to play catch up and copy so far, so why stop here? But this show is actually going to be, the showrunner is James Gunn, so it's going to have the same flavor as his last Suicide Squad movie. I've been excited about the trailers because there's something about seeing John Cena as this Peacemaker character wearing short sleeves and a chrome helmet.
And sometimes just underwear.
He's in his underwear a lot. He's in his underwear more than Bryan Cranston. But that's always a funny visual. And I love what they're doing with this character where, yes, he's still a big, dumb bro, very aggro, but he's also showing a softer side. You're getting to see the friction between him and his uber asshole dad, where the things that have made him, and a team that has to work with him that don't seem to respect him. But maybe you've seen that trailer before, but now with this new featurette, it's showing a lot more of his relationship with Vigilante. And I do remember how Vigilante was a character who came out just a little bit before Deathstroke. And it seemed like they were going to do more with him and didn't. So it's fun to have a character that was almost kind of forgotten, plucked back up and brought to the forefront. And the way he has this obsession with Peacemaker where he just wants to be bros.
I'm the weirdo that I don't know why when that first issue of Vigilante ever came out, and I guess he probably appeared in something before then as like a side character or something. When he got his own book briefly, I bought that first thing. I was like, oh, I want this. This looks so great. I bought all of that whole first very short run of Vigilante. I was like, I love this character. I think I just like his suit a lot.
Well,
it's a cool suit.
I mean, it's cool, but it also looks like something you'd go skiing in.
It does. I liked skiing back then. Though,
okay, all right, fair enough.
That was
fair enough. And he's got the red visor, so it's like night skiing.
But I like that they finally show him without the mask on, and he's like a total dork.
A total dork.
Yeah.
Totally overcompensating.
How are he and John Cena even friends?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, they both have the same kind of ultra-violent agenda. Yeah. Justice at all costs. No, despite the collateral damage to innocence. But the more they're together, the more the difference between their personalities comes out. It's like, clearly this show is meant to redeem Peacemaker from, as we saw from the Suicide Squad movie where he seemed irredeemable, but it's doing it by going like, sure, this guy's bad, but this guy's so much worse.
Yeah. I do like the new guy who they've got handling them. It looks like we'll get only a little bit of Amanda Waller during this. She hadn't even appeared in the trailers, I don't think.
No, not so far.
And this whole thing is like, if the people who defied her in the Suicide Squad movie, this is their punishment. They got to run this ground team of around Peacemaker to deal with question mark. But they have said the butterflies, which I did my research. There's no butterflies in DC Comics. That's not a thing.
Oh, I just figure it's one of those things. It's
a code for something else.
A code for
it's not Madam Butterfly.
But it's like Sound of Thunder, where they're the butterflies because whatever they do is going to change history.
They look like they're super powered, like enhanced strength and reflexes regular people. Because when we see them, they're always like just dudes in like working man outfits, like jumping through windows and stuff. I don't know. But what I thought was curious about this is there's a moment where he's supposed to, in this new trailer, kill a kid. And he's like, yeah, he can't do it. And in the Suicide Squad, he firmly says, I have no problem killing kids if it's for like, justice in the American way and blah, 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 blah. But, maybe not.
Yeah.
And he's talking to the new boss guy, and the boss is like, the world needs a real son of a bitch. And you're the one I've got. And I was like, oh, that was kind of cool.
Oh, no, it's very cool. It's very cool. Yeah, like I said, this is going to be a redemption arc for him. And maybe, a chance to explore all the things he thought of himself and realize like, oh, that's not really me.
Cena looks like he's having a lot of fun here. I love all the new stuff with his pet American Eagle thing that he's got. Like, you can't train an eagle not to shit in a car. That'd be taking away his soul. Like, is that? I don't know. I don't think you could have a pet eagle.
I think all the pet shops are going to have to go on notice that it's going to be a line of people in there looking to buy eagles.
Probably already were, and usually all those people were already on an FBI watch list.
Yeah. So if you like the movie Shang-Chi, well, guess what? You're getting a lot more. The director, Destin Daniel Cretton, has been signed by Marvel to do a lot more, like possibly the sequel and some Disney Plus shows, or at least one. And we can only figure that it's going to pick up where the first Shang-Chi movie left off, with his sister being the head of the 10 Rings.
Yeah, Xia Lang, who, if you watch the post-credit scene, is, okay, I'm running the 10 Rings, but now it's more hip-hop. It's got more chicks in it. It's cool. Like, okay.
This ain't your daddy's 10 Rings.
It's not your daddy. Well, I mean, literally, they don't have 10 rings. I mean, I guess they could call Shang-Chi and go like, hey, can you bring your 10 rings over? We can use some rings.
We got a branding problem.
they must. But presumably that might be a way that it goes. The other theory is that Awkwafina might get a comedy-related show following her character. Because really, look, I love Awkwafina. I liked her in the purpose she served in Shang-Chi. But it's kind of weird and mystifying that they keep going, no, you have to come. You're part of this too. Especially towards the end where, not spoiler if you haven't seen it, but basically it's, oh yeah, and you too, you need to come. Like, why?
Yeah, no, they if they do a show or at least in a sequel, they'll have a chance to kind of retcon things to go like, no, her destiny was always a part of this. Because I rewatched the movie just this week, and
me too.
and it's like, man, that first half is really good, and then it disappoints. It's like, I don't know why she's still here.
Yeah, pretty much. It's funny watching all the deleted scenes on the Blu-ray and 4K. There was a lot more to her sequence. There was a whole thing where, what's his name? Like the guy with the sword on his hand or whatever.
Oh, Sword Fist.
Was it Sword Fist?
Yeah.
I thought it was something else Fist. I don't know. But
Razor Fist.
Razor Fist.
Sorry.
Where I was going to say, I know when.
Yeah.
But I know, like he encourages her. He's like, you need to go out there and you need to do this. You need to go get your bow. Like he's like being her support bro. And then he gets killed getting her bow in the deleted scene. You're like, oh, I guess somebody went, we might want to use Razor Fist again. So also, there was another thing with the Trevor Slattery where he
something else.
Where he led a army of the little flying weird pig chickens up to distract the big monster so she could get her shot.
That makes sense because they did so much with that,
and then they just abandoned
and
him.
Dropped it. Yeah,
I don't know.
Okay,
but either way, he's also the director is apparently going to be producing and maybe writing a show for Hulu's Onyx Collective, which is, Hulu is owned by Disney as well.
Sure.
And we don't know anything about it, but Onyx Collective is a organization that's designed specifically to promote people of color and people with groups that don't have as much of a voice and put their voices out there in entertainment.
Okay.
So, maybe we're going to get something really interesting there.
All right, cool.
So people seem to be having mixed reactions to the idea that Tatiana Maslany, who I love, man.
She can do anything.
She can do any voice, she can do any accent. She's like just a chameleon. But that she's playing She-Hulk. That's not what they're having a reaction to. They're having a reaction to the fact that they're doing the same thing they're doing with her that they did with the Hulk in the Marvel films when he's the Hulk, except She-Hulk is pretty much always She-Hulk. She's not generally the human version, right? She just is She-Hulk all the time.
Well, I mean,
so they're doing a full
she's
CG.
Jennifer Walters at times.
Yeah, but even in court, she's She-Hulk.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what you're going with. But yeah, sure.
It's a legal comedy, and from everything I'm reading, it sounds like the whole show, except for possibly the beginning where they introduce and how it happened and yada yada, that she's going to be this character who is much like that version of the Hulk, where it's like her, but it's CG, and it's her face, but it's CG mocapped onto that. You get what I'm saying here.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. I mean,
but they don't want them to do that?
People are weird. They're gonna.
And the internet just wants something to complain about.
They're also like, "What? I don't want to see a superhero show about a woman. I hate women."
That's a different thing. But
stop it.
But
internet.
yeah, but you're gonna have to CG her because Tatiana Maslany, she's
She's
like
tiny.
this big.
Yeah, I did an interview with her at South by Southwest years ago, and she was delightful. For
Yeah.
She
Of
was there with her
course.
boyfriend. I don't even know if they're married now or not, but somebody she had made a film with
Yeah.
who she was dating at the time. And they were both funny and charming and fun to hang out with. Like, I even brought out that she had done like this totally $0 like threequel to a bad horror movie.
Oh, okay.
And she was like, screw you.
You're lucky the interview didn't end right then.
Right. But, it's got to be better than the 1991, I believe it was, New World Pictures aborted She-Hulk film.
You could stop at New World Pictures.
Yeah, that was going to star Bridget Nielsen. And there are pictures on the internet you can look up where she's wearing green hair, green lipstick, and just like a skimpy like thing that she's wearing. And like in the photos, she's like, that looked like it was going to be horrible.
Yeah, of course it was. Yeah. Nobody cared about superhero movies back then.
I mean,
just the fact of casting Bridget Nielsen. Look, I get it. She was tall, but that was
her one skill.
Yeah, that was her one skill.
She was blonde and she was tall, and I guess Dolph Lundgren liked her.
Yeah. So who's ready for Charlie Cox back as Daredevil? I mean, listen, from the Netflix Marvel shows, the one thing that was universally agreed on was that Daredevil was the best of the shows, and Charlie Cox was an awesome Matt Murdock.
Yeah.
Now, we've had rumblings that he's going to be in She-Hulk and maybe something else, and it has been kind of vaguely denied, but now Kevin Feige has finally said, yes. Charlie Cox is coming back as Daredevil. Thank you. World's worst kept secret. But he's also said, but we don't know when.
Yeah. I mean, considering that Charlie Cox, last year was like, I'm here on the Spider-Man set. You're like, okay, unless they delete his footage, which is entirely within the realm of possibility.
It is possible.
I'd say it's entirely likely we're going to see him appear in.
It's just that whole thing of we've kind of been counting on him being in Spider-Man No Way Home. So now to just cast doubt into that, it's like, really? Is this still more of the subterfuge? You still just have to hold on to your cards, even though they've already dropped and everybody's seen them.
Get him in there. We want a Charlie Cox Daredevil MCU film.
Yeah.
We want that. And I get that maybe this has to be a thing that's going to evolve out of the shows, because I would love to see one that gathers together a lot of the other street level heroes. Like Oscar Isaac is playing Moon Knight, which I can't tell you how excited I am. I'm so excited about that. That's like my favorite, most anticipated of the MCU new shit Disney Plus shows. But even She-Hulk and Hawkeye and Echo, who's getting a spinoff from Hawkeye, who originally featured as a Daredevil.
Yeah, how is Echo in the MCU before Daredevil?
I know, it's baffling, but I'm wildly excited about them bringing that in there, because overall, as you said, that Netflix trilogy of Daredevil shows were pretty damn good. And Cox was exactly the right guy, a relative unknown, to play that role. And the MCU's it's not unknown for them to go, like, we're bringing in people you've never heard of for these roles.
Right. I mean, Charlie Cox at that point had only kind of been known for Boardwalk Empire. And it's good to cast people who are relatively unknown. I mean, not necessarily, you don't have to be fresh off the boat or anything, or fresh out of the Stellar Adler school, but when you get somebody who's uber famous, they come with baggage that like the way you think of them, and it's hard to divorce them from the character. But bringing in somebody at his level, now you imprint Daredevil on him. So this is exciting news that it's finally being admitted. So we can just stop the pretense.
Daredevil is one of the greatest Marvel superheroes ever. I get it. Like, maybe you're one of those guys who's like, but I like the guys with more power. I'm sorry. Yeah. Street level wise, he's almost up there with Spider-Man. For like, oh man, you're amazing. And if you want to talk about most amount of solid back-to-back runs by different writers,
more fantastic best of all time runs.
Oh yeah, just one after another that was like, oh my God, this is incredible. And now we're going to name them all.
On a sadder side of news is the recent announcement of George Perez and his cancer diagnosis. It's stage 3 pancreatic cancer, and it's inoperable. This is pretty sad, because George Perez is one of the backbones of comic lore as far as artist goes. He started in the 70s. I know I was first exposed to him with his work on Avengers. That woke me up to, wow, this is amazing art. He's also very famous for the relaunch of the Teen Titans.
That's where I discovered him.
Sure. That's what it is for a
the,
lot of people.
The new Teen Titans.
The new Teen Titans.
Where he pretty much the definitive Teen Titans storylines.
Mm-hmm.
That's all George Perez. And he created the looks for umpteen billion characters that were introduced in that run.
Right. I mean, characters that still endure today, most notably Raven and Starfire and Cyborg. And then he was always known as the guy who could draw the most characters. If there was when there was a team up, or at least a crossover between the Justice League and the Avengers, he was the guy. Crisis on Infinite Earths, he was the guy. Wonder Woman, completely revamped and revitalized Wonder Woman at a time.
He restarted that book from the ground up, and the people who've been involved with the Wonder Woman movies have all said, well, it all came from him.
Yeah.
We got everything we got by reading the Perez run on here, which also included, which people, of course, at the time lost their minds over. Wait, they're women of color in Themyscira? That doesn't, how would there be, shut up, okay? Really? He was a big innovator, but you know what? More than that, he is so famously one of the nicest
guys,
friendliest guys in comics.
Yeah.
Like if you look at his appearances, which were all the time at Comic Cons, like he went to every Comic Con, it seemed like. He would just get in there with the fans, hang out with them with hours. There's thousands of photos of him online, like posing with characters, like the famous Superman holding Supergirl and screaming up into the air. There's like photos of him holding a cosplayer as Supergirl, and he's like, oh, in the same pose.
No, he was always very gregarious. He was the guest at the very first comic book convention I went to, and he was so surrounded by fans I couldn't get close enough to get an autograph from him. But just it was, it made you jealous because you saw how he interacted with everybody. And now, even with, at the stage he is now, he doesn't know how much more time he has left. He's refused to get any more radiation or chemo treatments because it would just, there's a point when, with pancreatic cancer, it's pretty much a death sentence. And there's a point where you just have to decide, how do you want to live the few months you have left? And what he has decided is, while he has, officially retired from drawing comics, he's going to do some more book signings, and he said he wants any of his fans who show up to just come up and give him a hug and take pictures. And I can't even imagine.
Yeah, please. They're like, please don't address the sword of Damocles hanging. And even with the press, he's like, I'm not doing interviews. I'm just not doing that sort of stuff. I'm just trying to enjoy the time I have left. And I think it's great that part of what he wants to enjoy the time he has left is spend it with his fans, the people who love him. And there's been no end of tributes online from pretty much everybody involved in comics in the world going, he's amazing. We love him. People going like, I wouldn't even have a career without George Perez.
Sure.
And like huge names, and people just crediting not only one of the most important artists in comics history, but one of the most beloved personalities in comics history. But you know what? That is going to do it for this episode of Crossover Event. I am Chris. You can find me at oneofus.net, where you can get a bonus video with more news stories we're going to discuss after this with me and Martin here. It's going to be great. But you have to be a brown coat subscriber or above at oneofus.net to get access to that stuff, which, I could really use you becoming. It's great. Come on.
Yeah.
Help me out.
Help him out here.
Martin doesn't need your help. He's on double toasted.
I'm fine.
He's already
I'm good.
doing good.
I'm good. But if you get a chance, look for one of my other podcasts, Loose Cannon Comics, and that's canon with only 2 N's.
It's okay. It's great.